how to build a medieval house in Minecraft. Now, this covers the exterior, the interior, some variations and additions you can use to make your build unique from the build in the video. You don't need to follow the video's instructions, you can just use the techniques if you're building up the pillars for the outside of the building. Making sure that the right sort of length, so you can see these ones are 3 blocks tall, these ones are 6. Now you want to mix in a load of stone-like blocks like this, so like clay, stone, andesite, stone bricks, cobblestone, gravel, even dead coral. The clay, the reason I'm using clay is because it gives it a bit of it's extra lightness to the build, as it's a massive contrast. It works well as a separate block, well, not as a separate block, but in there it works well as giving it some extra character. So now you can see what we're doing here. We're making a space for a window. Over here we put some stone brick walls to make a nice porch, and we use dark oak fence for windows. Reason dark oak fence is because it, let's say glass might have been a bit hard to get in medieval times, so you might have wanted to have something like this instead. A lot cheaper. That's the basic idea. So as you can see, we're starting to get the window shape. So we've got 2 stairs at the top, 3 blocks, 2 stairs, and then we've got that. So now we're building up even further. Now the reason we're not building up the pillars any further is because they are going to be covered by the roof at that point. And we've also got a hole there for another window. So there we go, just keep mixing it in. And over this side, we're trying to put in 2 windows, and there's a villager getting in our way. The villager wasn't very helpful. So we've got a blank wall there, but we've decided to put some windows in. You can always change your mind on things, that's one important thing to remember. You don't have to stick to your original idea. So there we go, we've got another window space. And 2 more stairs like that. They have to be stairs which match the other blocks. So yeah, just copy the other side like this. Yeah, that's the basics of it. So now we're building this side. Now this side is going to be only 3 blocks tall because the edges are going to be covered by a roof. It's my mistake that I didn't put it to 4 blocks tall on the other side, over here, when it should be, because 4 blocks, or the final block of the 4 is going to be covered. Here we have a chimney. Basically just keep building it up, add 1 movement in it, like a stair change, so it will move to the side, and then put a stone brick stair with a chimney pot on the top, which can be a flower pot. So there, we've got that. Now we're doing the shape of the roof. So you can see here we're getting the basics. So make sure you put a stair there on the thing, and then get it so it's 2 blocks above the ground, because it wants to go down far. So we've also got a slab here as the final bit as well, which you've got to be careful about. So basically just repeat this all the way along, apart from when you get into there. So now let's look at what's happening here. So here I'm trying to decide what to do with the chimney. I'll come back to that later. So also adding some trapdoors to add some weatheredness into it, so that, well, yeah, it's not as hard to look at. We'll also add some signs on there and try and make them NBT. If you don't know how to do that, you control middle click a sign and it will get it into your inventory as an NBT sign. And you can't stack NBT signs, I don't think. well, I don't expect you can. You might be able to do it with the same NBT sign, but yeah, there's no reason why you'd want to. So there we go. We're starting to build the other roof, which is going to be a lot less steep because we need some contrast. So you can see here I've got quite a lot of stairs, but now we're having a slab, so it's a sort of circular shape almost. Yeah, so then we go down, and you can see here, yeah, you put a slab and then a stair underneath. That's one thing I got wrong, which then I quickly changed. So, also, leave a gap there. Reason is because that's where the blocks are going to go. So if there's any blocks which are not a full block, do that. Of course, most blocks aren't full blocks, but what I mean is if the block isn't going to be fully covered like this, so you basically want to fill it in so it looks like the blocks are the shape of the roof. Right, so yeah, we're building this section, we're just adding the extra 4 blocks up. So now, more roof. Yeah, you basically just need to continue it along, make it join up with this. So you want to incorporate it, well, you sort of want to make sure it doesn't, yeah, this is good. You don't want to make it too different, so you can just join it on like that, it looks epic. So there we have started on this side. So yeah, and remember you can always do some additions or variations to this build, like just changing the shape, that's one thing, and just change it as much as you like. You need to make it as different as you, well, it's nice to make it different. So here I've found what to do with the chimney. You can see here I've done some slabs and, well, not slabs, trapdoors and signs to cover it. Now, yes, we've almost finished the roof, which is good. Come on, hurry up. Oh, we're almost there, and then the slabs at the top. There we go, that is finished. Now we need to just go inside, I think. Yes, you need to make sure the pattern goes onto the inside as well. Also, I suggest putting some slabs on these, just because it will make it join to the roof better, and you'll also need to increase this pillar going up. Right, so yeah, that's just a load of trapdooring done on the outside, and I think it's pretty much done. We've just got to do the interior after this. Right, here I am, I think, adding the slabs. Have I added them? No, I haven't. Where am I going to add the slabs? Oh yeah, there we go, vines. I wouldn't suggest using vines. Vines are okay, I just think they can get out of control. Now here what we're adding is some tough veins. What I like about this is it stands out slightly, and it sort of looks like it's a massive crack across the side of the build. So use this technique as much as you like. It just makes the build look amazing, in my opinion. So yeah, that is pretty much done. Yeah, I think we better do the interior. Right, okay, so now we're in the interior. So what you probably want to do is block off the door if you're next to a village, because otherwise villagers will come through, and while you're building the floor they might fall in some holes and get a bit annoying, especially if you haven't finished most of the floor. But once you've done that, oh yeah, and also use slabs, cheaper, not as important in creative mode, but in survival mode it can be a lifesaver. But anyway, let's go on let's do the interior. No, blast.
restart. Okay, we're going to be restarting. So, you can see we've blocked up the door and we're in the interior. Now, the reason we've blocked up the door is you can see there are some villagers outside. So, this is what you want to do, because if you have a massive gap on the floor, villagers could start walking around in it and it could be quite annoying to build. Also, use slabs because they're cheaper. Now, we're going to do some kitchen. Because this is something you want to do, because, well, every house you build really sort of needs to have a kitchen. That's one thing. But yeah, it's one of the backbones of the interior, and it really, if you do it correctly, it can really stand out and make your build look a lot nicer. So we're going to do that. Ooh, not campfire there. But there we go, something like that. And then just put into there. I think we'll do that. Now that is the basic chimney section, but now I've got to do the oven, which is pretty much just that. Campfire, reason for campfire is because it produces smoke, which no other things do, and fire, it just produces like little embers, which I don't really like, and campfires produce embers as well, massive ones, which are a lot nicer to look at. And also, you can put food on it itself, which is quite cool in my opinion. So, now, we've got to think whether we have enough room here for a table, which I think we do. So, you want your interior of a medieval build quite crammed, because you want enough space for a working area, as well as like a living room. So we need to get some spruce, as some of you may know, spruce is my favourite wood type, but there we go, we're just going to build like that. The reason we're having trapdoors here in a table is, well, you'll see when I build the chairs, because when I build a chair, this is what I do, pretty much. Though we do need to have some signs. Also, as you can see here, the fence is joined onto that. Don't worry about that too much, unless it's really annoying you, then sort that out using a debug stick, or if you're in survival, don't build your chair there. But we'll just do that, like so. And you can see here, you can see underneath the table, so there's actually enough space for your feet to go in. So actually, if you then close the trap door, you can see yourself, you can't actually crouch, but you can see that you're sitting at the table, which looks quite nice in my opinion. So we're just going to put these seats around there. In my opinion, this is a really nice place to have a table as well. Look at that beautiful window you can see there. Might want another chair, though it's very close to the oven, that's all I'm going to say. Yeah, we need some andesite to make a nice I guess work table, or sort of top to your kitchen area. So you're going to put some polished andesite in there to mix it up slightly, make it look a bit more built up. Then you also maybe want to use some stone bricks or something in there as well. But what we're making is a sink. Now this is a very simple medieval sink. You might want to do something like that, or you may want to get a cauldron and go like this, put it in there, and then put a trapdoor in the front. As of course you need a bit of water. Don't make it look too modern, or it will not fit in. That's all. That's a good tip. You just don't put anything modern in your medieval house unless there's a reason for it. I don't know what the reason would be. But anyway, as you can see, we've got this, but we've also got a load of space up here. So we're going to build another room. And you're thinking, how am I going to get up to this room? Well, I'm going to show you how to do a nice medieval ladder or medieval staircase which will fit in the space. There's not much room for a staircase, I have to admit, but I'll do what I can. As you can just about do a 2x2 staircase.
well, spiral staircase, but there are other options. So we're just gonna see which one seems to work the best. So just filling this in like that will leave a hole for us to get down. So I think we'll do staircase first because that's not the option I'm gonna have for this house. I think we need to have, I think, yeah, probably a ladder would work a lot better, but this is something you can do. I'm not sure how good this looks, but you can then put some andesite to hold up the different parts, which I think looks quite cool. So you can have sort of steps up like that, which I think looks quite nice and medieval, though, oh, not necessarily medieval, but you know what I mean. We can then have that going up to there. I really, this really doesn't work for a staircase like that, but you can do that, or you can do a spiral staircase like I'm going to show you right here. This is a 3x3 spiral staircase, simple as just building up like that with some slabs. You can continue that all the way up. You may want to put torches going around the outside. You can just continue that pattern going around, and you can use any block in the centre. Well, you can, but I suggest using some sort of log or pillar like block. Now, to do a ladder, well, I think we're going to have the ladder here because that seems like a sensible place, and that gets us up to the wall. Now, what I think would work is trapdoors like this, and then we put the ladder on the outside. Here's a tip for doing trapdoors: press shift and space at the same time to make yourself, well, basically fly and go down at the same time to keep yourself steady while placing trapdoors like that. Now, ladder. It's time for some ladder, because ladder is very important. If you want to build a ladder, there's no other real way except for I'm alternating that with that, but big problem is that. But you just have to hope you don't decide to flip that. That's probably one of the best ways of doing it, because it's nice and thin, which is the main reason. If you were to do this in creative, I'd suggest using some structure void. I can't remember whether this works, but I think it does. Nope, it doesn't. Well, then use barrier if you want to have a floating ladder like that. It sort of looks okay, though the problem is you can see the block. It also doesn't look very Minecrafty. So we're gonna stay with my trapdoor design. So we're gonna do that. You can go up into here where we're gonna build a bedroom. Now, you have to do beds in a very specific way. Well, there are a few ways, but it's the same sort of concept. You sort of, I guess what I'm trying to say is you need to use snow for pillows, which is something not too many people do. I've seen some things from builds. I don't want to talk about them, but because they were that bad. But this is a nice big bed design, which I use a lot. Basically that. You can have other versions of it, like sort of that, which is okay. I think that's quite good with double beds. Or you can just have it sort of a bit like that, or something like that. Uneven. The basics is you want it to be uneven. So I'll do that. That looks quite good. But anyway, you don't need to worry how flat your pillows are, because the red carpet, or whatever type of carpet you're using, is half as flat as one snow layer. So that will work quite well. All you need to do is not put a light source too close to the snow, and then it won't melt. So yeah, speaking of light, we need to put some light in this room, and
we need to work out the length of this room first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is an annoying number for builders. Main reason is it's because it's an even number, which means there are going to be problems, pretty much. But it's nice to have, in my opinion, one block centre or it to be to be odd. But I think that's going to work. I don't think that's actually going to melt the snow, so that works quite nicely. And you've got 2 lanterns there to light up your room. Now, I wouldn't suggest trying to do medieval wardrobes, they'll look too modern. But I do suggest having some sort of table like this, or a desk even, you could do. Something like this, that would look nice. Just put a chair at it and you have a nice desk. So now we've got to do some spruce signs at the side of this, because of course we need armrests for any chair. Oh gosh, that was a mistake. Good tip, if you're in creative, do NBT ones by pressing Control and then middle click. You'll get an NBT sign. You can also do this with text on the sign. If you want, you can put a few signs on the side of your bed. Yeah, it looks good. Sometimes I'm actually just going to put that snow up to there because that's annoying me. This is the usual design I do. So yeah, oh gosh. But that is the basics. You want to now go down to this floor. Now, what have we got here? Some empty space. What are we going to fill it with? Well, I suggest using this area to build some sort of workstation or some sort of thing to show what their job is. So you might have a cartographer. So I'm going to be covering specific jobs and how to make the build. Goes this, but let's say this is a cartographer because this will actually work decently. Biggest problem with cartographer is the table looks exactly like the floor, but there we go. We'll do something like that. Dark oak trapdoor, like that. Then you want a lot of light to be able to see your maps by. I think we'll do a glow item frame to sort of show possibly a map they're drawing. Could look like that. Yeah, I guess, but that can also just act as some paper. You can even put paper in there. But yeah, that's one thing you could do. You could also, well, I wouldn't do a lectern, that's one thing. You could do a fletching table, which Mojang still haven't found a use for other than being a workstation. There we go, we'll get some birch stairs and birch slab. Maybe birch trapdoor, I don't know. Yeah, we need a birch slab. There we go. Something like that. We could do that, make it a bit uneven. Yeah, that sort of works. All that. Yeah, that looks quite nice. There you go, you've got 2 working stations you can have. Could even have an anvil, though I think that will work with a nice blacksmith's house. Or you could just have some sort of crafting table. This will look nice and normal and could easily work well in a survival base. So just going to do that and that. That's as simple as you can do it. Maybe oak trapdoors, might want to do that, or even an oak sign might look good on the side. Not sure about that, but you can experiment. That's the basic thing you want to do. Just experiment with some sort of workstation for your house. Now I think we're going to open the door and let the villagers come through. Well, if they want to, that is. But that is the basic build complete. And really, you don't want to have too many lights in, because when it gets dark, well, do you think they had light? Do you think medieval houses would have much light? I don't think so. So if you want it to be realistic, do that. You could add some chandeliers, or some other lights, also like some torches, but that is up to you. There is a lot of stuff up to you in this build. So yeah, maybe a doormat. They can't get in now. I think it's trying to get in. You could probably do some carpet or something, though it might look too modern. There you go, something like that. That looks quite cozy. And then to do a little path, you can just add a bit of coarse dirt, like that. Maybe mix in some dirt path, like so. Just like that. Basically just make it look trodden. That looks quite good, I think. Oh, not that. But there you go. That's pretty much your build. That's what it can look like if you put a lot of effort into it. Now that took a long time, but there we go. You've got a nice chimney with a nice chimney pot. You've got, it just looks, it looks so nice. But what you need to do, what you might want to do is put in some stairs into the walls, such as some cobblestone stairs. You might want to do this to make it look more ruined. If it might be, for example, in the modern age, you might want to do some of that. That can make it look more ruined. You can also put some vines. I was gonna do that originally, but they can go out of control if you don't. If you don't use any string, and the string can. If you notice the string, it can ruin the build slightly. But there we go. I think that is it. So yeah, just keep experimenting with your build to make it look even better, and I will see you all in my next tutorial, where we will be covering a different build. It will be a house with a workplace, a specific workplace which needs to stand out from the rest, such as maybe carpenter, or it could be a blacksmith, or it could even be someone with a massive furnace in their house, I guess. But you'll have to see. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all later. Subscribe!